And we are live, everyone.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome to New Beginnings. Welcome to Sanity Damage, a tabletop role playing game, actual play live show. I'm your game master, Nathan, and I'm joined by four amazing people tonight. Let's have you all introduce yourselves. Cody.
Hey, everybody, I'm Cody. I'm the longtime editor here at the Homebrew Network. You know me from various shows like The Homebrew, of course, and Power Word Fail. Been playing D&D for years and years and years. Love pirates. You know, trying to ham-fist pirates into everything I do, Space Pirate Grundle and all. So, it just felt natural to play Insanity Damage. I play Captain Jack Rackman, Cleric of the Old. Captain Jack Rackman, he's a pirate. He set sail at a young age, and after some trial and error, eventually was beginning to make his way in the world, and eventually he got into some trouble, crash-landed his ship, befriended a god, got magic powers, met the crew, went on a crazy adventure where he mutated into a fish, and one of my dear friends helped me gain wisdom of ages by removing one of my eyes. Right where we left off on Jack's story, we had plunged deep into the Well of Fate at Tristan, and Jack had made a pretty dire sacrifice to save everyone's life. And then I hung out with a beholder for quite a while. And who knows what's next for Jack. My other character is Abraham Blavatsky, Diabolist and Master Summoner. Abraham, he's a quite an interesting figure. He's lived a crazy life, but everything, all of his studies, all of his learning has brought him to this place called Penjurhau, where he'd heard of some pretty crazy powerful magics going on, and he really wanted to study them and figure out how they worked. So he traveled here, met with this strange skeletal necromancer named Zechariah, who then introduced him to the rest of the crew. Abraham's pretty moody, and at the moment is like ready to blow up the island due to some disagreements with the native populace. But I'm hanging on by a thread here for my dear friend Zechariah, so in his honor, I'm trying my best to make this a good situation.
Awesome. Thank you, Cody. Next up, we've got Pippin.
Wow, I did not think I was going next. Hi guys, I'm Pippin, also one of the founders of the Homebrew. Longtime D&D player, and wow, I was not ready actually. I completely forgot what I was going to say. Anywho, beyond me just being a person who just mind blanked, I actually stumbled into playing Insanity Damage by literally stumbling into a call where this was being formed. I was just gonna troll my friends who were in a Discord call and was popped in, "Hey guys, how's it going?" And they're like, "Hey Pippin, wait, hold on, Pippin. Would you want to play Insanity Damage?" And I was like, "Wait, what?" And that is how I came to be Insanity Damage. Literally, basically the story right there. And I play Moriarty, who's the fisherman cook, slayer of basically anything and everything with his fishing pole. Slightly mad after the events where we lost Jack Rackman, and kidnapper of a moose man, and that's basically Moriarty up to until now. Other than that's basically Moriarty. And Tor, who is our lovable paladin warlock, for those of you who haven't figured it out and kept asking me in Discord. But Tor is just kind of a sad story of betrayal and somehow was washed ashore also on Pingerhow in the recent events and got picked up by Zachariah and Abraham Lavotsky. I think I just butchered that name right now.
Blavatsky.
Lavotsky. And he's been struggling not to kill rich people in this town because he doesn't like them, which has led to some interesting adventures and our current predicament.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Both of your characters joined the crew kind of the way you joined the show. I didn't realize that until you recounted that experience.
Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah.
And now that you mention it, yes, that is how they kind of both. One washed ashore, and the other was literally at the marketplace and ran into Zachariah. Both of my characters got grabbed by Zachariah.
Yep.
Just realized that as well.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Next up, we've got Ellen.
Oh my gosh. Hi, guys. I'm so excited to be back. It's been too long. My name is Ellen. I'm an actor, a comedian. You can see me on a lot of our YouTube content for the Homebrew Network. I do a streaming every week, and there's another show on here that's an actual play TTRPG show on YouTube. And I play Penelope Whitlock, who is West Annika's favorite angel baby. She is a 17-year-old light cleric, ASMR. She was working with the Shadow Cats, Night Cats. I will never get the correct one. I believe it's the Shadow Cats, who was the resistance group fighting the Mind Flayers in Cliffs Bay. She was raised by nuns who taught her the ways of clericdom, and she's a little traumatized by war at this point. She's seen some stuff, and it's really starting to get to her. I also play Celine the Star Child, not Celeste. It is Celine. She is an elven druid of the Star. She met up with the gang in Tristan. The Stars told her she needed to be at a place, and she was there, and she met this party, and sometimes it feels like it's hurting paths, but she's just trying to do the right thing and kind of navigate she's trying to navigate the events into the way that she thinks is supposed to unfold based on her observation of the stars.
Awesome,
And yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks, Ellen. Lastly, we've got Alex.
Hey guys, it's Alex here. Y'all know me from Sanity Damage. I am the voices of Clacker Volkson and Arf. Clacker is a oh my gosh, I almost said seal folk. That's Arf. Clacker is a orcafolk barbarian. He is of a noble background. He was raised in Arrowhav. He was a former tea trader. Now he is a famous tea critic and writer for Tea and Honey Quarterly. He met up with the original gang by I can't remember the town name now, but he was reviewing some tea there, and then there was a scuffle. He kind of saw what was happening. This huge crocodile thing came out from a well at some point, knocked Clacker down, and since then he has been on a road of sanity strains, just getting knocked down, knocked back up again, and just getting tossed around. It has made him a very scared barbarian. So he is extremely hesitant and currently terrified of seal folk, which is a great lead-in to Arf, who is a seal folk ranger from Cliffs Bay. He has kind of been cast away by the other seal folk, so he's been a loner most of his life. Kind of hung around the woods of Cliffs Bay, and he's just been selling animal hides, different things that he's hunted around the area from there. And now he will kind of do anything to save Cliffs Bay because it's his homeland. He doesn't want to see it overrun by all these crazy mind flayers. And he is going to be working with the Shadow Cats and everybody else to do everything that they can to hopefully help save Cliffs Bay.
Awesome. Thank you, Alex. So yeah, that is our crew. This will be familiar news to those of you who are deeply plugged into the Homebrew Network and all of its shows, but we had a fifth player, TJ, who has left the network to pursue his own endeavors. So, although TJ himself is no longer part of the party, his characters, Griff Leadthrower and Fabulous Vile, will continue to be vibrant NPCs in this world, as is true of some of the other player characters who no longer have players on the show. So I'll go over a little bit of bookkeeping, kind of a recap of the adventure thus far, especially for those of you who are joining us now that it's a live show, but maybe you haven't listened to the whole backlog of podcast episodes yet. And then after we've done that, we will jump back into the action. So yeah, we are a live show now. If this is your first time listening to us, then I think our whole backlog of episodes is on this channel. If it's not, you can find it on any podcatcher. We will be recording bi-weekly on Thursdays at 7:30 EST. Okay, I will try to keep this recap as brief as possible. I was trying to condense it, and then I kept going down rabbit holes of world building and lore that I thought was relevant, and so we'll see how much I can stay true to the course here. The prologue of our adventure starts as 5 different adventurers come together in search of a dark entity known as Kraz, though each hero wants to find a Kraz for different reasons. Zachariah Harrows, who is definitely just a human, definitely not a skeleton under a hood, wants to become a powerful necromancer in his own right and is hoping to learn from Kraz. Hudson Swift and Moriarty, who both are actually humans, just want treasure. I think Moriarty is just kind of along for the ride. Again, Zachariah picked him up in the marketplace. And they believe that Kraz has a lot of treasure. Jack Rackman, who at the time was also human, that is no longer true, was recently shipwrecked in a planar thunderstorm and befriended a local tribe of lizard folk. They were worried about their shaman, who of course is Kraz, and wanted Jack to check on him and see if he was okay. And Clacker, Alex, correct me, I don't remember why Clacker joined. Do you, Alex? Or...
I think he just was looking for some adventure. He was like,
Okay.
You know what? I don't know what's going on in this town. The tea was terrible, so there's got to be something good here.
Right. Okay. Kind of similar to Moriarty, just stumbled into it.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, so the party journeys to Kraz's lair, battling horrible, aberrant monsters all the while, like the crocodile that Alex mentioned, like an octo-bear, among other blasphemies. When they finally confront Kraz, who is a lizard folk shaman, they manage to barely subdue him. They then learn that he was actually mind-controlled by an illithid named Zugchikanku, who forced Kraz to perform horrible experiments on the animals around him. So Kraz went from the party's enemy to the party's benefactor or patron of sorts, giving them a few gifts and entreating them to hunt down Zugchikanku and put an end to her madness. So the party pursues Zug to the Westanican colony of Cliffs Bay, where they believe that she is in hiding. While investigating, Hudson is kidnapped by the nefarious Thousand-Tooth Tom, a ruthless shark folk lone shark who wants to collect on Hudson's debt. The party pivots from searching for Zugchikanku and scrambles to rescue Hudson. They're joined by a handful of new friends, including Mitsuka, a dragon turtle-born wayfinder from the Astral Sea. They set sail after Hudson, and eventually they make landfall in a small town beset by a werewolf, and so the party decides to journey into the woods and vanquish the werewolf. This in turn leads them down a series of side quests that ultimately lead them to a rocky shore that Jack has seen many times in his dreams. So a sidebar here, in his dreams Jack has been spoken to by the father god of the Gamel faith. This god is named Yold, god of storms, king of the sky, and god of moose. So after each dream, Jack has slowly morphed from looking like a human to looking like a fish person. He's got like the needle teeth, scales, abomination marvel ears going on, like the Batwing kind of ears. And so after they explore this mini dungeon on the rocky coast, and they defeat a spirit that was guarding the area, the party gains a powerful artifact, the Totem of Tagal. And that concludes the first chapter of this saga so far. The second chapter begins with Jack and Zachariah, who have both kind of been the leading face of the party up to this point, getting into kind of a harsh disagreement over what they need to do. Jack thinks that they should continue to follow the signs that Yold is providing for them. And Zachariah thinks that they need to abandon this quest presented by Yold so that they can get back on the previous side quest of hunting down their friend Hudson and rescuing him from Thousand Tooth Tom. This actually leads Zachariah to leave the party, so Jack leads the remaining party north, following Yold's cryptic signs. They gain a couple allies along the way, including Yontor the Moose Folk, a druid that helps them travel north much more quickly by teleporting through trees. They come to a town run by hags, and after defeating the hags, they descend into the Well of Fate, in pursuit of the Eye of the Norns, which is another powerful artifact that Yold seems to want them to acquire. Unfortunately, the Eye of the Norns is the central eye of Nagish, a beholder who obviously does not want to part with his eye. In the tense combat that follows, Jack, as Cody mentioned, felt guilty that he led his friends to almost certain death, and offers to stay behind with Nagish, who insists that he only wants a friend, while the other party members flee. At the beginning of Chapter 3, we pivot back to Zachariah following his southern journey through the woods, back to a boat and across the sea south to West Danica, where he believes that Hudson was being taken. After doing some investigating, he finds that Hudson was there, but Thousand Tooth Tom has since relocated. Dejected, Zachariah returns to Pingerhow, where he forms a new party, and that would be the other half of the party introduced by our friends here, so Abraham, Tor, Penelope, and Arf. Together, this new party attempts to rescue Cliffs Bay. After the original party of heroes left the colony, the Mind Flayers took over the city, and things went from bad to worse. Now, the new party gradually beats back the leaders from the Mind Flayer Collective, although at great cost. Zachariah actually dies in one of these battles, and Penelope nearly drowns in another. Back to the north, the remaining party tries to rescue Jack, but to no avail. Jack and Nagish have already vanished into the Astral Sea. After a brief deliberation, they trick Yontor into helping them teleport back to Pingerhow, where they also return to Cliffs Bay. And so this brings us to the last two episodes where we left off before jumping into this live stream. So the Battle of Cliffs Bay ensues, pitting many factions in the city against one another. The Mind Flayer's leader, a massive Elder Brain, fights against the Resistance Alliance led by Abraham, Penelope, and their friends, while the newly arrived party teams up with the local army of lizard folk that have been besieging the city to battle the West Anakin Navy and the Elder Brain. Before it could be defeated, the Elder Brain plane shifted away, taking Mitska the Wayfinder with it. The dust still hasn't quite settled, so that's where we will jump back in. I will give the players a chance, though. If there are any major plot points I left out, feel free to insert them real quick before we jump in.
Nothing that I can think of.
Forgot to mention that Penelope has Raven now, and Raven and Tor's familiars is best friends.
Yeah, lots and lots of familiars. It's a pet party.
Yeah,
So
that's
Raven,
an important plot point.
Yeah, we've got Myrrh, the pseudo dragon. We've got Pot Boy, the pot. Little Goose, but Little Goose is no longer with the party. He's up in prison. Lots of pets.
Yeah, Abraham had a pet for a while, but he broke his contract.
Right.
I think Little Goose is still with us in our hearts and minds.
Oh,
Love
and
you.
Gaily and Corky, the Fae Spirits.
Yeah, where is Gaily?
She's been
Nathan.
hiding. There's a lot of war. She doesn't like war. She's scared.
She just wants more buckles.
Yeah.
More
More
what is it good
acorns.
for?
Acorns.
Acorn tops.
Acorn talks.
All right, so let's see. Immediately picking up from where we left off last episode, the dust still hasn't settled. There's a dragon that is allied with the lizard folk. Sorry, one sec. My apologies. Still getting a handle on all the audio stuff.
Yeah, also, we've switched from Roll20 to Foundry, and that's why we have this beautiful animated map for y'all to see on YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, and now we're getting the real map.
Yeah. So you're in the kind of courtyard in the middle of the riverbed complex of inns and taverns. Some of you are up on the rooftops, some of you are down in the streets, in the alleys, in the courtyard itself. And the collective of Mind Flayers is gone, but the other factions in the city are still very much at odds with one another, tense with one another. So your friend Fabulous Vile has summoned forth these black tentacles that are restraining the blue crystal dragon that is allied with the lizard folk in the region. What would each of you like to do? Cassius looks about ready to start attacking Fab. Fab does not look ready to release this dragon.
I need it for bits. I think we should keep this. It's too large to be left on its own, don't you think? There's been enough fighting for now, for today. Let me just have the dragon.
Cassius and all of the lizard folk move to grab their javelins, their hand axes, short bows.
F5. The dragon wasn't part of the deal. There's plenty of other bits and goop that you can go collect, but not the dragon.
Well, deals can change, yes?
I don't, you'd have to have both parties' permission to change said deal. Just say it.
And you have no permission from us.
Cassius
And-
will hiss at him.
You see Celine, who's still in her starry form with like her skin glowing and her hair whipping back, and she's gonna cry out, "This dragon is not property of anybody. He has his own mind and wants and ambitions. You can't just claim him."
A contingent of West Anakins have their muskets at the ready and they're marching down the streets. They all look haggard. Some of them are clearly bloodied. One of them is actually missing an arm and is just like limping.
Everyone's good on health, right? In the West Annika, or in the Cliffs Bay team?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay.
Or is
I-
a little bit rougher.
Yeah, I'm like half health, but I'm okay.
Or it'd be considered very bloodied, I think.
Okay, well, if Tor wants to crawl over to Penelope, who's hiding behind a bunch of boxes because she just saw, her friend kind of bleed from the eyeballs and get taken over by mind flayers, I can give you some heal. So Penelope's just behind a box, like very shell shocked at this whole ordeal going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Abraham's a little bit just like waiting to see what happens, I suppose. Like, beholding this spectacle with this dragon and these strangers.
Yeah. The dragon roars and struggles to get out of its magical bindings. The West Anakins arrive, and you see Commodore Thaddeus holding his blunderbuss over his shoulder. Riff Lead Thrower looks at him, and Riff, being this giant hippo man who fights with a ship cannon under his arm, salutes him and says,
Well, looks like we cleared all the mind flares out, sir. Orders.
and Thaddeus says, "Fighting should cease. The mind flayers are gone. We've all suffered enough casualties today, yes?"
Isn't that kind of up to them, sir?
The dragon squirms in the magical bindings, and Fab finally goes,
Fine. This one time.
and the magical tentacles blacken just a tiny bit, and Golo squirms out of it. Golo the dragon squirms out of it, glaring at Fab all the while, hissing like if it were a mammal, his hackles would be raised.
Way to try to stir the pot there, Fab.
Well, I haven't seen a dragon in hundreds of years. When am I going to get an opportunity like this again?
Well, oddly enough, you know, I've seen a dragon about every visit to this island, so it's a pretty common sight, to be honest.
Celine's gonna slink off the roof, still glowing, still in starry form, just in case it pops off again, and she's gonna go to Clacker and Moriarty, and she's gonna say, so are any of these people your friend Zachariah or anyone who we were looking for? I'm not sure. I don't think Potboy ever found them.
No, Potboy hasn't found it, Zachariah at all. Clacker, have you noticed him at all? I haven't seen him.
No, I haven't seen him anywhere. I mean, you know, I think I know him. I told him to tell people to ask people how the weather was. I haven't heard anybody doing that but me.
And Celine's gonna yell over at the other party. I assume we're on opposite ends of the battlefield. Like there's the West Anakins and then everyone else on the other side. And Celine's gonna yell over. Is any of you Zachariah? We're looking for a Zachariah. Is he there?
Zachariah Harros.
Yes, Zachariah Harros. How do you spell that?
I don't know.
We don't know the spelling, but we're looking for a Zachariah Harros. He's definitely a person.
Abraham would look around. Do they not know what he looks like? I will step forward and sort of spread my arms out and say, I am familiar with this Zachariah fellow, but he is not with us any longer. He was killed by mind flayers.
Oh, that's... I'm sorry. That sounds, bad. I have his friends here. They were, looking for him.
No, you know, I know you said he was killed, but he was already, you know, a skeleton, so he was already kind of dead. So I can see how you could make the mistake of thinking, you know, he was dead. But so we're just looking for him. Do you know where he is?
That's true. Is he was an undead man. So we already knew he was dead. That's no new information.
Just checking his pulse doesn't mean he's gone. Just say it.
His soul left his body.
No, yeah, I don't think he had one of those. You know, like I just said,
His
he was
flame
undead.
went out.
Well, yeah, he didn't have flesh. He was a skeleton. So
His
did have a
bird
flame,
has
but
a
was
new
the-
master.
Raven.
Wait, is that Raven over there?
I think Raven is gonna look at Penelope, and Penelope is gonna nod, and Raven can fly over to the boys. And then Penelope is gonna pick her head up from being shell shocked and see what's going on. But yeah, Raven flies over and lands on Moriarty's head.
Now, Raven, what are Zachariah and Gailey?
Where? Where?
That's what I'm asking you. Where's the hat?
Raven just cocks her head at you.
Listen, you need to tell your people to leave.
I mean, I only came in the city to find Zachariah, and I mean, we can try. And she's gonna go to the hashish, and she's gonna be like, "So, what do we do now? Are we still invading? What's the plan?"
As we negotiated, the non-combatants will live. If those who would fight lay down their weapons, I am willing to consider them non-combatants. But we are the rulers of the city now.
Did you hear that? He says that if you negotiate and lay down your weapons, he won't kill you all with his dragon.
I look back at the commander. Is that acceptable?
Thaddeus?
Yeah.
Thaddeus is glowering. There's like the thunderclouds in the sky are kind of mirrored in his eyes. But Isaac steps forward. The leader of one of the gangs in the city. He's a human, lithe, although he's walking now with a limp as there's an obvious wound, an open wound in his leg. And he says, "Perhaps. It's wet. We're all wounded. What do you say we move inside to discuss this?"
Can we bring the dragon? Do we have a place big enough for the dragon?
Golo shakes the water off of him like a dog would.
Even wetter now, Moriarty's gonna kind of glare at the dragon.
Wow.
Well, Hashis nods. He says, "That is acceptable." Golo doesn't seem to mind the rain. The lizard folk really don't seem to mind the rain the way the mammals do.
We don't need a place for the dragon. Everyone's in. Let's get a table for how many are we? We're 1, 2, 3. Let's say like a table for 10 from our side. Sound good?
Thaddeus nods. I would propose Parliament. It's out of session. Plenty of room for all. Set up a medical triage in the main room. We'll take one of the conference rooms.
Does that work for everybody? Neutral-ish ground? Maybe some pastries if it's a conference room.
Oh, is there tea in there?
Don't think there's any fresh pastries, but we can see what we can scrounge up.
Oh yeah, that sounds great. Maybe like a little some hot water for my friend here so he can make some tea, and yeah.
Yeah, Hasha seems to find this acceptable. So, a procession of wounded soldiers and leaders from, depending on how you count it, I think that's up to 5 different factions, all trudge with one another to Parliament. I'll go ahead and move you all onto the Parliament map.
Wow, I'm so excited. You guys get to see all Nathan's cool maps.
Yeah, it's so fun. Highly recommend Dungeon Alchemist to anyone looking for more map-making software. Can you all see anything, or is it dark?
We have to drag our characters in.
Yeah,
Okay.
like half of it's dark for me.
Sure. And can you open the doors yourselves, or do I have to do that?
What?
I think we can do that.
I
Nice.
opened a door.
Nice.
Yes, we can open the door
We have the
ourselves.
technology.
Mm-hmm.
Parliament should have some nice doors.
I mean, this is big enough for Golo, right? He can make his way in.
He can't fit through the
Well,
door.
not. Yeah, he can't fit through the door. Otherwise,
So
he'd be
Golo can't open doors, but we can open doors.
fine. Golo's just too big. He's a growing lad, growing dragon lad.
Well, if Golo doesn't mind, I have a few tricks up my sleeve for solving said issue. Moriarty will
Golo
talk
doesn't
to
mind.
Golo and offer to reduce his size.
Golo shrugs.
Okay, Moriarty will cast reduce on Golo.
All right, we've got a cute little baby dragon now.
Do Golo and like Myrrh give each other the head nod since they're like similar size now?
Yeah, the cat headbutt.
Yeah. They gotta sniff each other's butts.
Right.
Tor is not letting Golo anywhere near Myrrh's butt. It's protective.
In Raven, it's like alternating between Clacker and Moriarty, kind of like, you know how like a border collie or a corgi will like herd people. Raven's just like herding them.
Nice. Yeah, so this big like auditorium quickly fills with wounded and with a handful of people with some amount of medical knowledge. The conference room off to the side is where the leaders have gathered to discuss matters.
Oh
Sweet.
boy. Abraham was smoking outside before coming in.
Apparently, I ran into a wall, and the game told me I can't do that. I gotta go through the door.
Got stuck.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
This is so cute. We could all sit at the table.
Mhm.
Oh, we're going into the room.
Yeah, dude.
All who want
Wait.
to. How does Clacker feel in the presence of Arf?
So, here's the thing. He hasn't noticed Arf yet. Arf has seen him from afar and is like, "Oh my, well that's an orca folk, so I'm gonna lay low and mind my business." So he just kind of puts his hood up to kind of hide himself
Nice.
for now. So Clacker has noticed like a figure moving around, but he can't make out any details really. So he's no reaction as
Thinks
of
it's a
yet.
halfling ranger.
Yeah, exactly. Sure.
Yeah, okay.
Like
Oh,
Rupert
speaking of
Moret.
halflings, all of you except for Celine would know Nelton, and so he's another bridge that connects the two parties.
And
Um,
Kenawan's still about, right?
Kinawan is still about, yeah. I'll introduce everyone in this room briefly. Cody, can you kind of zoom in? Maybe you have already, so that everyone
Yeah,
here
yeah.
is like clearly visible. Cool.
Who's sitting
guess-
next to who?
Yeah, when you hover over them, you can see all their names. So I'll start at the top left with Moriarty. Next to Moriarty is Hashis, the leader of the Fang Death, which is a military operation run by the lizard folk and snake folk of Pincherhow. Hashis himself is a snake folk, Yuan-Ti. Next to him would be Isaac, the leader of Pride, one of the two major gangs in Cliffs Bay. On his right is Sapphire. She's a tiefling who leads the Shadow Gloves, which is the other major gang. They have recently been partnering as they've been trying to fight the Mind Flayers together. Next to...
They don't always get
Uh,
along.
Oh, they hate each other. But
Like-
they're willing to work together.
If Isaac was straight, there'd be so much sexual tension there. Oh
If
my
Isaac
gosh.
was straight, yeah. I think it would be easier for them if he was, because
right.
they could bang things out. But as it is, there's just no way to resolve the tension.
Why does everyone always think
Nelton.
it's that simple?
I mean, that was what Zachariah's advice was. Next to Sapphire is Nelton, the halfling map maker who was a con artist and is now an aspiring hero thanks to the influence of our dear deceased friend Zachariah. Celine, the Star Child. Thaddeus, the Commodore in charge of the West Anakin Navy in Cliffs Bay. Gluttony, the so Hero Forge did not let me make him as obese as I would like for him to be.
What?
But just imagine an enormously fat albino tiefling who just embodies everything slimy.
Didn't
I'll
I
move
set him
Arf away
on
a spot
fire
so we
last
can have
time I
space.
saw him? Oh.
You did set him on fire last time you saw him.
Ar's just gonna be giving that man.
Arf
the
just
glare down.
moved away from him.
Penelope's gonna she's gonna do the little sacred flame in her hand. She's not gonna cast it, but it's like there.
Yeah,
And she's gonna
he's
make eye
definitely-
contact with him.
Oh, he's giving you like the big stank eye. He's ready for trouble. You don't see his companion Ryan though, who was the other pompous rich guy. So he's absent. We've got Arf, Tor, Abraham, Penny, Penelope, Clacker along the south side of the table. Kenawan and Yantor on the west side. Kenawan is the wayfinder that trained Mitsuka, who has recently been mind controlled by the Mind Flayers. And Yantor is the moose folk that Moriarty tricked into coming back to Pingerhow.
It was
Kidnapped,
necessary.
basically.
Yeah.
Is Cody still playing Yontor?
No, I think I'll take Yantor back. Yeah, we've got one missing PC who is elsewhere with a beholder. Yeah, so we've got a tense negotiating table here. There is one moldy croissant in the middle of the table. There's no tea or beverages aside from water and like a couple flasks of whiskey that the soldiers had on them.
Well, I suppose this meeting shall come to order.
Who invited who? Oh man, I was wondering what was gonna happen to me mixing up my character voices, and it just happened. Penelope is gonna look at everyone. She's gonna say, why is this? Why is the fat guy here? I'm not body shaming him because he's fat. I'm shaming him because he sucks.
Agreed.
Well, why shouldn't I be here? Child, I should own the city. I have all the money.
You hoard money from people who need it, and then when the citizens were under attack, you just like holed up in your own mansion, and then came crawling to us for help and sucked.
my own city state. Let's keep the facts straight.
No,
As for hoarding money, I'm happy to give it back to the economy now and lift everyone out of poverty as long as I'm given my proper recognition.
you deserve no recognition, and Penelope's just gonna be a pouty teenager.
Kenawan will look over at Abraham and nod and say, well, that's settled. I mean, he is a leader with some influence. This court, this council will come to order. We need to achieve peace. We've all suffered losses. The Mind Flayers have hurt us all. Taken from all of us. And there's obviously deep sadness in his eyes as he says this. What we need to do now is find a way to move forward together in such a way that will be as fair to everyone as possible. That is an obvious plight without an obvious solution. I would like to first hear from those of you who do not directly represent any political affiliation.
because I think that you will have the least amount of bias.
Celine's gonna raise her hand and she's gonna say, "Oh yes, my name is Celine, the Star Child. I traveled over here because the stars kind of told me to, and that I was needed elsewhere. I'm assuming this is the elsewhere I was needed. I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't think I even quite understand what is happening. I was looking for a man named Zachariah, who is evidently deceased now, and I think good job killing the mind flares. It sounds really tough. But yeah, maybe we should just learn to get along. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, Abraham will like close his eyes and nod with his hand steepled, and he'll say, "We have overcome quite a great monumental challenge. Unwittingly, we did it together. We're stronger together than apart, and the mind flayers aren't done." We didn't kill the big brain. A bunch of them got away. And they're a collective. So even the ones we did kill, they're still in there.
Ooh, but we did, thankfully stop them from getting a hold of Golo. That would have been bad to give the mind flares a dragon.
Fabulous shakes his head. Well, if the mind flayers didn't get it, still someone should have put him to use somehow.
And I'm not next to him or else I would elbow him.
I didn't think Fabulous was in here.
Yeah, I don't have his token, but he's
Yeah.
sulking. He's sulking in the corner, and Griff Leadthrower is standing behind Thaddeus, just offering him like protection.
Right on.
Yeah, I gotta say I agree with what everyone else is saying. I think now's the time to, work together to beat these mind flayers, because we have the same goal right now. Not everyone might like each other, but we want the same thing. So I think until we get everything sorted out and in a better situation, it's probably in everyone's best interest to work together. But we still have to find Zachariah.
Zachariah is dead. He's dead and buried.
Yeah, I know you said I told you he's a skeleton. He's already
Clacker.
dead.
Yeah.
Nelson pipes up. Clacker, he's gone.
And we didn't bury him. We actually had a super sick Viking funeral for him. It was super
Buried
cool.
at sea.
It was really emotional. I made a
Yeah.
speech.
Yeah, I made a speech too. It was good. My name's Penelope, by the way. I don't think we've met. Because I think I am sitting next to Clacker, and so I just shake Clacker's fingers.
Hilton, are you sure you gave the speech? I thought Hilton was the public speaker out of your family.
No. Pelton is the. I mean, you know. Have you not caught on yet, Moriarty? It's all me. I'm all the same
Oh,
person.
I know. I made up Hilton. I was just hoping to lure you into, revealing it again.
No, I'm beyond that. I'm a hero now.
Oh, well, congratulations.
And he also died at one point, and then he came back, and then he almost died again.
I did. Look at my neck, and there's just this huge gash that should be completely lethal and somehow isn't.
Wait, so you mean Zachariah is really, and Clacker will kind of look at Moriarty with like a deep sadness in his eyes.
Yeah, that leaves us, Clacker.
I knew I should have gone with him. I knew I could have helped him. I knew I should have gone with him.
Or
Clacker
you
just-
could have already been dead now, too. And it would be me who's alone.
Clacker just buries his head in his fins.
I think Penelope, because she is the one sitting next to Clacker, is gonna like pat his shoulder, because she also loved Zachariah and try to like give some compassion.
Oh, thank you. I just, one moment, and Clacker will just kind of walk out of the room, just on the other side of the door, and take a minute for himself.
Inspiration if you don't already have it. I imagine you do because you're Alex.
Clacker didn't have it, so he'll take it.
There you go.
It has been a while.
I think Clacker had to use his for something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you tried to use it to overcome insanity at some point.
Probably. Which
It's
time?
probably in our fight with what's his name, the Beholder.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Nigish. Yeah.
Well, with all that
There's a lot of-
heartache and tragic talk out of the way, as someone who's also not politically affiliated, I feel like I should make my peace.
Interjection. You just said you come from your own city-state, which would make you politically affiliated, so you can just be quiet.
Penelope is right, Glustony. Shut up.
Thank
Kinawan
you.
just holds his hand up. Well, Kinawan says, anyone else who is not politically affiliated? He holds up his hand again as Glustony starts to try something again.
Look, I don't know if I'm politically affiliated or not. I mean, I just want to do what's right for the city because this is my homeland too. Like, I know that technically this land didn't belong to West Danica, and it's not right that they took it. They should have had no right to take it, but this is my home too, and it's home to so many people. And she's gonna look at Hashish and the lizard folk representatives, and she's gonna say, I can't make up for what happened to your people, but what I can tell you is that if you decide to just annihilate and wipe out this city, you think it's gonna end there? You think West Danica is just gonna roll over and and say, oops, we lost. Cool. No. If anything, they're gonna make an example out of you. They're gonna come back 10 times harder with more ships, more guns. Your children will see nothing but war. And if it's not the West Danicans, it can be the Tyangese or the Staffoldians or anyone else who's out there grabbing for power. It will be generations of fighting. And I'm a kid. I shouldn't be seeing such warfare. I know it's messed me up mentally. I should be thinking about traveling or boys or dresses, and I'm dealing with having to watch my friends die in front of me and lose their minds, and I'm losing my mind. I think we need to be able to work together because we gotta end this warfare. We gotta focus our strength on the important thing, which is eradicating the mind flayers. I don't think this is the only place that they've rooted in. And you also need a seat at the table. They also need to have a voice in Parliament. She's gonna look at the West Anakin officers now. They deserve a voice in Parliament. And Penelope's gonna sit back and then glare at Glustony.
Grab some inspiration. That was beautiful.
Thank
We're just
you.
gonna do basic-
As you were talking, Hinawan moves around the table and just embraces you. He looks at everyone else and he says, out of the mouths of babes. And if you'll let him, then he'll just kind of stroke your hair the way your father might.
Oh yeah.
The enemy
Melton
you know
says-
is better than the enemy you don't, my friends. You'd rather deal
Right.
with the West Danicans than the Tyangese.
I think
Well-
everybody would rather not deal with the mind flayers.
Exactly. They're why I've got this scar on my throat. I don't want them anywhere near the city. I think I'm a little bit politically affiliated, I guess, because I've been working with multiple gangs now for a while. I don't know, but I agree with Penelope. I think that we're stronger together than we are apart. And I worry that if we don't do something now, we're just going to keep fighting each other and the mind flayers are going to destroy us next time they come.
Yeah. Or my friend Abraham was talking with some crazy stuff, and I wouldn't mess with him because he's a crazy motherfucker. I've seen him do crazy stuff.
I just want to get back to my forest. Yantor
Wait.
just pouts, sits back in his chair.
What
I'm
about
sorry.
Apex?
Yeah, Apex is gonna burn the whole forest down by now. We've got to get back there. Kenawan nods. Well, we've come to an accord that we need to come to accord, which is progress.
Abraham would extend his hand out to Hashis and say, "Do you have anything to say?"
Hash just nods.
The child is wise. Penelope, was it? You have you give a stirring testimony. And I do believe that some kind of arrangement can be reached. Perhaps a new governmental structure. I recognize many of you did not intend to send us scurrying from our homes.
When he says many of you, he glares at Thaddeus.
And I do not wish to deprive you of yours. So, I would propose a new monarchy over Cliffs Bay. Its current citizens can stay under my authority.
Thaddeus scoffs. Behind him, Griff hefts his cannon. Glusterny folds his arms over his chest. Kenawan shrugs.
It seems, Kenawan will say, this is difficult to swallow for the others at this table, although I see it as reasonable, Hashis. Perhaps an equal partnership, not a monarchy, but an oligarchy of sorts. I can get behind that, Glusterny says. Let us each, myself, Thaddeus, Hashis, let us each have a vote. I shall have 3 as I have the most money. I can do the most for the economy.
Penelope's gonna Sacred Flame in the hand, ready to go.
Kenawan activates his Starblade.
Just a thought. Spitballing here.
And he, brushes his coat off where he Sacred Flamed him last time.
I thought I saw him dead outside. I could fix that.
I wouldn't be opposed to that, Tor. Maybe after the negotiations, though.
That's really insensitive. My friend Ryan died earlier today.
Oh, is that insensitive? Like, tons of my friends died. Like, boy, please.
Boy, please.
Boy, please. I watched my father figure die in front of me and then set him on fire. On a boat. You can not even have a vote. Why do you even get a vote? Why do you get to deserve a vote?
I can do great things for this city,
Like what? Like more whorehouses, more brothels, more gambling dens?
among other things. I can rebuild the piers. I can rebuild the damage that's happened in Parliament. I mean, if you looked around, this place is shoddy. It's got mushrooms and funguses growing all over it. I can repave the roads. I can fix up the libraries, add a couple more whorehouses.
Are you
Or-
willing to sign a document vowing to do these things? I cannot take you at your word.
I would. I'd be willing to sign a document, assuming I remain on the council.
Or, we just tax you proportionally to your income and hoard of wealth and then just do that stuff on our own. I don't see why we actually need you.
Inowan's eyes just widen as you invent a new form of government.
A new form of government? A plan
What?
for a new form of government?
What? Hash just watches all of this exchange, and he says, "I would not object to a council, and it makes sense that some votes would be weighted. Some councilmen would have votes that count as more than one. I think that should be proportional to the length of time, the number of generations that we have lived in this land."
For the first time ever, I'm gonna actually use some items I have in my inventory, and Penelope's gonna take out a paper and a quill and start writing down all these for the new constitution.
Okay.
And she's gonna
I'm
say,
actually gonna make a journal entry of the new Lisbay Constitution.
"Oh, that's right. You want me to?"
Haven't you and your people lived here in perpetuity? I mean, how many generations have you lived on Penjar How?
Was, how do you say it in your tongue, using exaggeration for effect? Yes, we have owned this land forever. I would be willing to sit on a council, say my vote counts for 3.
Abraham nods.
Okay, well, we would need it, if I could just have a suggestion, maybe so it's an odd number so that there's no ties. In the future, we just need to make sure that there's always going to be an odd number, so we can't tie. Or we would need to decide who would be the tie keeper. I could be the tie keeper. I don't mind being the tie breaker.
An odd number of votes, regardless of number of delegates.
Yes.
Alright, we've got some groundwork here. Nobody has voiced objection to Hashus having 3 votes. Gluttony clearly wants to, but is holding his tongue. Well,
It's not that I don't mind that you have the lizard folk. What do they call themselves? Is it just lizard folk, or do they have a name?
Yeah,
They've
They
got a name. I can't remember it right now because it's in the tongue of the lizard folk.
Not that I care if, that your people have 3 votes, but are you sure it shouldn't be split? I know you guys have a more spiritual leader. Trying to think of the name of the
Oh,
dragon
Kraz.
turtle born.
no, there was
Kraz.
someone else.
The old
Oh,
dragon
right. We met
Mm.
them.
Lonway
turtle. Long way.
and
Can that-
Slork. Slork was the community leader of the village.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Should we
What about
involve
that?
the other tribes?
What about to the town? To the town should definitely have a vote.
To the town is Jack. That was
Oh.
Ijunzi's name for Jack.
Gen Z should
Sounds
have
like
a
great
vote.
guy, and I think he should
Ijunzi
have a
is
vote.
4 years old. She's a toddler.
Penelope's 17 and writing a new constitution.
I mean, touche.
How old was Thomas
Hashus-
Jefferson?
Bear. Yeah, so Hashus finds it acceptable if the votes are split up among delegates, but maintains that the lizard folk should have disproportionately more delegates. So each vote counts as 1, but the
It can be.
representatives are split up.
Are we creating an electoral college, Nathan?
Basically.
We know how well an electoral college works.
I mean, I guess it's closer to just like the House of Congress, right? Like
Right.
each yeah.
And who do we propose for the Cliffs Bay side of things? I mean, I'm not from here. Again, I'm happy to be involved as much or as little. I'm not sure why I'm here. I'm gonna go also step out. She's gonna step out with Clack. Oh, did Clacker come back?
He made his way back in, yeah.
Okay, never mind. She's gonna go back to try to check on Clacker, then realize Clacker's back there to be like, oh, okay.
How did you miss the big guy when he came back in?
There's a lot going on. Honestly, I'm not one for rules or regulations. This is going a little over my head.
But I would say, yes, there should be a disproportionate. The native lizard folk should have a proportion in a wealth of the votes on the seats on the council. I think the native Cliffs Bayans, the people of Pendrahow, the city folk, should also have their own votes, as well as if West Annika obviously is part of the thing, but there's also like a difference between just them and the actual people living. They should have at least a couple votes, so that there's not an actual reason for them to try to get involved and coming back and.
Oh, and we should
Isaac and Sapphire quietly confer with one another while you're working on this a little bit, and then Isaac will stand and he will say, speaking for myself and Sapphire, we would propose one other amendment to the current arrangement. And Thaddeus, I ask that you hear me out before you raise your arms or have a violent outburst. Much of the harm that has come to this land has been from people who want a home being forced to live somewhere else. The lizard folk have been forced out of the colony. I think that should change. I think that there should be no reason that if they want to, they can live among us. I think that that's only reasonable. Many of us, Hashes also nods. Hashes himself looks like he has no desire to live in the city, but thinks that that's
It should be.
that
An
should
option.
be. Yeah.
yeah.
Especially if they're in Parliament.
Yeah,
Right.
right?
Isaac continues. Many of us, myself and Sapphire included, were exiled from West Annika because of a variety of crimes or social differences that we have with the ruling house, King Tolden. So what we propose is that we become an independent city-state. Gluttony rolls his eyes. That's what I've been saying. That we become an independent city-state affiliated with West Annika, but politically separate from them. Thaddeus is clearly unhappy, but he's not causing an outburst right now.
Do we still pay taxes to the crown or something?
Quite the contrary. If the West Annikans were to dock in Cliffs Bay, they should pay taxes to us to use our port. Thaddeus shakes his head. That's a step too far.
Nathan, can I ask what, besides being like a military strategic site for West Annika, what is their interest in Pendrahow? Is there like any sort of production, trade?
Well, it's kind of in the center of the main ocean. It serves as a clear,
It's Hawaii.
obvious trade route.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's also kind of the way Australia was used historically. It's like a criminal dump. Like, that's why Isaac and Sapphire and a bunch of
okay.
other people are here. So there's a lot of economic value to be retained by the West Annikans.
How about we cut a deal with the West Annikans saying, we reduce our fees to have them dock. We allow them to have a military outpost here. We don't allow anyone else to have a military outpost. We sign a treaty with them, and we work out some trade agreements that are favorable for them, and maybe they'll be less mad.
Indeed, some sort
Well,
of
I-
embassy.
Mm-hmm.
Thaddeus nods. I cannot make negotiations on behalf of King Tolden, but if we are given a exclusive military access, if we are given a free use of the docks, I understand the economic necessity to pay for resupplying, but free use of the docks, something can be arranged. Isaac and Sapphire seem content with this.
Abraham nods and says, "You will also provide military support upon needing it, such as the blockade with the Chinese."
In exchange for 3 seats on the parliamentary council.
3, what about 2?
Is that Penelope or Ellen?
I don't know who I am right now. It's Penelope. I'm just doing the math. I'm like, this parliament's about to be huge.
It is about to be a big parliament, yeah.
There's a lot of seats in that other room.
Man, it's been a long time since I took civics, Nathan. I didn't think I was gonna have to create a new government.
Yeah. For the sake of expedience, after some back and forth, he can be talked down to 2.
Okay.
There is some more give and take over the course of the afternoon, and there's a couple near outbursts, but everyone does seem to generally be accepting of this new compromise, the birth of this new city-state.
Do we have a name for the city-state yet? Is it just Cliffs Bay, Penderhow?
Glastonia. I think it should be called Glastonia.
No, you don't get it. You don't even have a vote.
I do have a vote. I'm
You
the
don't have a
representative
vote.
Of one of the neighborhoods of Cliffs Bay.
No.
Is there anything wrong with Cliffs Bay? Isaac asks. That's what it's been called for some time. Those of us who have lived here already have called it that for a long time.
Hashish, what did your people call this place?
That is a great question.
Hold on, I have to look at my notes.
Lizardlanguage.com.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
what we called it.
Yeah. I don't know. I think this meeting's going pretty well from Abraham's
Yeah.
perspective.
Yeah, I
He's
think
kind
at
of leaned
some
back in his chair, like shocked.
At some point, Penny sent a message to the nuns using sending, being like, "Hey, we're at Parliament. The fighting's over. We're forming a new form of government. Come swing by. People injured in lobby." That's 25 words, right?
It sounds close enough. I think
Love
some
you,
nuns
bye.
are probably they're for sure on their way. Many of them know basic first aid, and some of them have some divine healing as well. In the lizard folk tongue, this land was called Kokeris. For the same reason you call it Cliffs Bay. There are cliffs that form a bay.
I like that. Let's call it that.
The independent city-state of Kokeris.
We can be like, there's some countries that I've heard of that have like 2 official languages. I think we should have 2 official languages. Trade speak and lizard tongue.
Very well. Okay, I think at this point, I'm gonna type up any major notes that you all want to be sure that you haggle into the articles. Otherwise, we'll type them up between sessions. Or I will. I mean, I don't suppose we really deeply need them, but you never know when something is going to come up. So we've got representative votes based on a variety of different factors. More votes to the lizard folk. No more than 2 votes per neighborhood of Cliffs Bay for the Cliffs Bayans. Together, a grand total of 5 votes for the Cliffs Bay, for like the citizens of formerly Cliffs Bay. 2 votes for the West Anakin Navy. 3 votes for the lizard folk. That's 10 votes total. So after some arguing, I think that the lizard folk would increase their share of votes to 4 votes.
To make it 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Quote, the dragons vote.
Yeah, can the dragon
Yeah.
get a vote?
I was about Moriarty was going to bring up the dragons. It's like, is this all this, okay with the dragons? I don't think, it'd be wise to piss them off before we sign anything in paper.
Oh yes, do we need them to give a stamp of approval? Renegotiate a treaty with them? I'm sure we'll get government officials in here to work all that boring stuff out, right?
Yeah, Hashes can sort that out with the dragons. I think that the exact number of votes that each group gets is going to be a little bit fungible over the first few years as they sort everything out. Which obviously is going to be fraught for all of them, but that is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Abraham will warn them that I will be leaving to deal with this mind flayer problem, but if I catch wind that things are going wrong here, I'll come right back and straighten it out. You won't like the way I straighten it out.
No, he's he's really, like I said, he's scared. He's scary, and he has a god complex. He's really dangerous.
Part of my idea about having the dragons as part of this vote, quote unquote, maybe they don't actually say much and just impart their vote to whoever amongst the lizard folk. But if there are any big breaks of the contract this constitution we're signing, they are a powerful force that can right such wrongs, while typically staying out of it.
All right. I think actually what happens, because there were 7 neighborhoods in Cliffs Bay, I think they actually get redistricted.
We are gerrymandering.
Yeah,
Wow.
down to
Ow.
4 neighborhoods, one of which is represented by the West Anakin Navy,
Oof.
one of which is represented by the wealthy elite that Glusterny
Oof.
represents,
Oof.
and one of which is like normal merchants, mundane people, and the other of which is represented by the former gangs that are now represented as, or now viewed as, legitimate political entities.
The citizens of Cliff Bay sound like they got the rough end of the stick, but at least they didn't get wiped out.
Yeah, at least the dragon didn't kill them, and everyone has a seat at the table now.
Mm-hmm. Isaac and Sapphire both are. Basically, everyone at this table is going to be a representative at first.
Is that including Nelton? Because he is at this table.
Yeah, does that include
Yeah,
Penny?
that does not include Nelton or Penny.
Nelton doesn't represent the traders.
He represents the map makers guild.
Yeah, maybe he'll run for office one day. Be a different
Wow.
kind of hero.
Wow.
He gets killed and revived just to not even get a vote. Wow.
Wow.
I mean, it seems like he might have voted to not get a vote.
Yeah, I'd rather go on swashbuckling adventures like Zachariah before me.
Penny's first vote would be to bring the legal age of adulthood to 17.
Wow, you raised it.
He raised it. Man, I
Well,
can't wait
Oh,
to
that's
go
it.
back to the Lion's Den. That party tonight's gonna be lit.
Yeah. So we've got 11 people on the bench. We've got 2 official languages. It's a city-state. West Annika gets exclusive military docking privileges. Any other major notes?
This is a wild card. I do think the who's on the council should be anonymous. Because I'm trying to prevent people like Gluttony from like corrupting it. I think we need to kind of build that into the fabric of this.
Yes, and term
Constitution.
limits, perhaps.
Oh yes, term limits.
Term limits, anonymous. I'm not sure that anyone's going to get behind the anonymity thing. Like,
I think
everyone here has kind of a big
anonymity
head and
thing
wants to be known.
would backfire with people like Gluttony, because there's always going to be some way that somebody finds out, and he's the kind of man that would use his money to get those anonymous votes, and nobody would know because it's anonymous.
Anonymity
That-
can also get you around term limits. Like if the elected person is anonymous,
That's true. I guess it really.
Well, I was hoping the council would have some fucking morals. Would hold their own members to standards, but all right. Yeah, you're right. I do think term limits
You're
are
right.
more important than anonymity.
I do think
Yeah.
term limits.
Now, do I think that they can be like pretty long terms? Probably. Like, I don't think it
Sure.
has to be like 4 years. But with considering that elves are a thing, and like, I just don't think it
sure.
should be lifetime.
No, there should be like an upper age limit based on race. Ooh, that's gonna get tricky.
a whole like
I
it's
would
like when you
not-
go to a bar and the barmaid just sighs and she's like, "All right, species and age," and flips through
Yeah.
a cute cook to see like who's of age.
If you're gonna base it like on that, it's either they would have to be hard capped at their like limits of terms, or they could serve for so long and then they have to step down for so long. That way, even if they are an elf, like he could serve his like 5 years, but then 50 years later, if they want to put him back in because he was good, he could.
Yeah, if you're still alive in 50 years and you want to be back on the council, you could throw your hat in.
Don't know if 50 years is the right number, but
No, 50 sounds great.
That does sound fair.
Yeah, that sounds fair.
If you term limit, break limit, then you can run again.
again, that'd be up to the races and people, this city-state, to get the quirks figured out.
Yontor, is there anything you would like to include in this constitution? I'm trying to throw in an observatory
I'd
in
like
there.
to go back to the forest and save all the poor squirrels from Apex.
Can we write that in that Yontor goes back to the forest?
Is
What
there
if it-
anyone in the Navy capable of teleporting?
You have a totem. Give me the totem and let me go back to my
The totem
forest.
doesn't work that way.
Yeah, we can get you on a ship. Fine, we'll figure it out.
Everyone just dismissing Yantor.
It's not dismissing. He
Abraham doesn't.
just
I think-
can't actually use the totem the way he wants to use the totem.
Celine,
yeah, the forest.
Celine's gonna do the thing where she puts her her hand in front of her mouth, so like Yontor can't read her lips. So she's gonna go to everyone else on her side of the table, and she's gonna be like, "Apex is an idiot, anyways. It's small potatoes."
We can go fix Apex's the situation of Apex after this is finished and concluded. While we search for more information upon the Illithids.
Well, speaking of finished and concluded, I think this is where we're going to wrap up part 1 of this stream. So, you've made a new constitution. There is a lot more planning to do, specifically in like the context of what you all as party members want to do next. If you're going to hang out in Cliffs Bay and help with repairing or go on other adventures. So let's jump back into that and figure it out in about 5 minutes. Those of you on stream, thank you for watching. If you are not watching us live, you can do so on Thursdays at 7:30 Eastern. We will see you shortly.
Bye,
everybody.
BRB.
Bye.
Toodles for now.
And we're back. Welcome back, everyone.
Welcome back.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, in the first half of this live stream, we wrapped up. The dust settled after the massive battle of Cliffs Bay, and then we had a 90-minute civics lesson as the party worked with a variety of political leaders throughout Cliffs Bay to draw up a new agreement that would reasonably appease everyone at the negotiating table. The exact details of that are still being worked out by some of the NPCs. Isaac, Cassius, Thaddeus, and unfortunately Gluttony will be arguing over that for a while. But Kinawan is making sure they all kind of do it in good faith, especially being hard on Gluttony anytime he tries anything. Yeah, so while that's going on, there is another matter to attend to. Obviously, Yontor wants to go back and fight Apex and save his forest, but that's not the only plot thread that could be pursued. There's also...
Is the Hydra coming back?
Oh no.
Now
Oh,
that
no.
you've said that...
No.
No!
Just honestly gonna say I'm not too worried about the Hydra right at the moment.
We
Not
got a
at all.
dragon
Ooh.
Hydra fight.
I will use spike growth again.
Okay, the Hydra is fleeing. Fleeing from the Spike.
I was gonna say,
Never
the last
again.
Hydra we met, Isaac cut it to pieces, didn't he?
Like,
Isaac
in,
did
like,
cut
2
that Hydra to
rounds.
pieces. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so you all as adventurers, I mean, I guess Clacker is also a noble, so maybe he's more interested in the political conversation. But I imagine most of you are eager to see what new horizons there are for you. So just to kind of quickly recap the threads of adventure that you might tug on. There's the plight with Apex, and Yontor wants to get back to the forest to take care of that. There's the original quest that I think only Moriarty and Clacker would be aware of, which is to pursue Zug Chikanku and put an end to her madness.
We do have to pursue Zug Zug and get rid of her.
Westanica and Taiyang have declared a war on one another, so the seas are going to be more tumultuous. And there's the local politics of Cliffs Bay. Furthermore, Cassius will inform all of you that he just received a mental message from Kraz, that Kraz has a couple friends that he is bringing to Cliffs Bay as well. Kraz is using some teleportation magic to hurry the process, so they should be there pretty soon. You've got a few minutes before their teleportation catches up.
Did he say what friends were coming?
He said a monster of some kind that he believes is friendly and well-intentioned, along with a fish pirate named Jack.
At the sound of that, Moriarty perks up. Just say Jack.
Jack.
That's just it, Jack. Not a full name like Jack Rackaman.
Communicating in one side over long distances arbitrarily confines you to 25 words. So
Yeah, I mean,
I do not know the name.
the name Jack is pretty common. I would say less common for a pirate fish. Maybe that is significant. Is your friend Jack a pirate fish?
Well, less pirate fish, more pirate man fish.
Yeah, I mean, he first started out as a pirate, and then he kind of just started changing. So he's more fish than pirate at this point, I guess.
I mean, not to say that fish can't be pirates.
Right. That's true.
I say, let's meet up with this Jack and this monster, and can we go get a drink? Can we go to a bar? Can we go to a pub? Leave the
Well, this
politicking to the politicians.
It's kind of a problem with meeting up with Jack, though. We don't really know where he is.
I mean, a giant monster is gonna be pretty easy to spot in the city, I believe.
Well, I mean, there's probably going to be sightings of people claiming to see monsters quite frequently still. You know, bodies of monsters, hydras. We did have a friend over there summon some weird lizard monster.
Oh, I forgot about the slad babies. Oh no. Can we add that to the list of things?
Maybe not the list of
Well,
things.
I'm not sure you would know about that.
Yeah, it's true.
Well,
Well,
Return the slad.
I don't think Abraham knows about it, does he? I guess I saw it.
I don't think Mr. Man was there.
Well, you attacked the brain right in front of me.
Oh, he
That's
did. Yeah, what happened to Mr. Man?
well,
Mr. Man
would-
was dismissed after the
Okay.
concentration wore out.
Would Starchild know about slots? Like,
Right, that's the question. Like you all saw this lad attack the Elder Brain. I'm just not sure if any of you would know.
Abraham
That-
is completely capable of summoning slots as well. I just don't because it's morally not okay.
What if we, like, played D&D and did some rolls for it?
That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, make an
I-
Arcana check or a Nature check.
Ooh.
Abraham can do so with advantage.
I have... Celine has things. First roll of the live.
Woo!
16. Wow.
That's 16 for Celine, and Penny can get in on that. What is it, Arcana? Or Nature?
Your choice, yeah.
Oh, they're the same for her. And a 12 for Penny. So far, switching from Roll20 to Foundry, my rolls have been so much better, y'all.
Yeah, Abraham got a 17.
Okay. Yeah, I guess you'll know the basic method of their reproduction through attacking things and like the parasitic incubation. What you don't know, because I myself don't fully understand this yet, is what that means with elithids who also have a parasitic reproduction cycle.
Right.
Oh.
I
Who would win
suppose,
out?
Mhm.
I would just recognize it as a possibility. I don't know that I definitely wasn't there when he attacked the civilians and stuff. So unless I become aware of any of those, I guess I wouldn't know to be on the lookout for it. Would I? All I saw was it march in, attack the brain, get dismissed.
Yeah, but Celine saw that. Celine saw it happen. So yeah. So yes, Fabulous File over here, he summoned the big slod and then it started attacking people, and maybe be on the lookout for it. You know, just keep an eye out for people's stomachs bursting open with slods inside of it. Maybe-
Noted. Oh,
maybe do it-
Hashis will also insist that Fabulous is exiled as part of the whole thing, that he's taken back to West Danica by one of the remaining ships.
I don't think anyone. Can we also Glestony? No, he needs his money, don't we?
He's on the council with
everyone needs
He's
my
not
money.
on the council. He just
I
wants
am
to
on the
be
council.
No!
That's already been voted.
I don't think he has a seat on the council. He just wants to have a seat on the council.
He does have a seat on the council.
Damn it!
He's just
Money talks. Right, he's only one vote.
Okay, it's better than 4 votes, I guess.
Exactly.
But
One
I
vote is
think
clearly better than one vote. That's how voting works.
Penelope is going to suggest that any of Gluttony's titles have junior council member. It's so if everyone else is a council member, he has junior.
Oh my god. Penny, more like petty.
Right.
Oh, yeah. You gotta do something to piss him off. You know that's going to piss him off.
And he's gonna assistant to the regional manager.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
exactly what I was thinking.
Well, I was thinking about maybe sending Fabulous on the same trip with Yantor back to his town, but at the same time, judging by what Celine has said about slod babies, we probably do not want a rampant slod population popping up in Apex. And your mountains, Yantor.
Hold on. I'm looking up spells at this point. I feel bad just,
Just what?
dumping Yontor on a boat.
Yeah, guys, we've got to go take care of Apex.
I plan on a couple.
Who is Apex?
A couple new arrivals come through the doorway.
Apex is a necromancer no leading an army up in the mountains of where Yontor lives.
And he's a bit of an idiot. He's not, he's dumb. He's not a concern compared to like Mind Flares or something. I mean, I probably could have got rid of him, but
Roz,
You know-
the lizard folk necromancer, comes through the door with Jack Rackman in tow.
Jack, what are you doing here?
Jack?
But
Jack looks
Wait.
over at Moriarty and Clacker and smiles and says,
Well, I was pretty surprised to find out you were here as well.
Penny.
Behind,
Go ahead.
behind Jack, you see someone else. Clacker and Moriarty. You see Nagish the Beholder. Although now his central eye is gouged out and his eye is just closed.
I think Penny is gonna stand up and look at Jack, and she says, I knew your friend, Zachariah. He spoke fondly of you, and she's gonna give him a big hug.
Oh, hello there.
And then
where
she's
is,
gonna give-
Zachariah.
Oh, he's dead. And then she's gonna give Nagish a big hug. Big tentacle-y hug.
isn't that a
Yeah, sorry,
dark
those are
man's
supposed to
icon?
be eyes. I don't have a good token for Nagish, so we're just
I
going
was
with
like,
that for
that's
now.
a dark mantle, not
Yeah,
a
yeah. There's not a beholder preloaded in the system, so next time Nagish is a major character, I'll have something for him.
It's Merle.
Is Merle.
Jack looks down and sighs and says,
Well, that is very sad news.
Well, Jack, there's a little bit sadder news. Apparently, Mitsuko did go through that mirror. It didn't eat her. But, well, here, in a fight she just missed, she was captured by the Mind Flare.
Yeah, I tried my best to save her, and it wasn't enough. And then I think her mind got completely taken over by the big brain, and like her eyes were bleeding. And when the big brain decided it was time to leave, it took Mitsuko with them. So that's a thing. Should we get a drink? Should we all just get a drink?
That seems reasonable. Milton stands up. Also, I have a map. And he proudly holds his map up. If you want to do strategizing, figure out what all we need to take care of, you can use my map, free of charge.
Oh, so now the maps are free. Clacker just kind of jokes and laughs.
Character development, right, big guy?
I do like this map. This looks kind of cool.
I like this map.
Look in the corner, Nelton map making services.
Yeah, I saw
Oh,
that.
that's cute. I just saw that.
Now, this is a special shout out to Grant. Please notice where the compass is. The top of the map is not north, Grant.
I put the
Yeah.
compass right in the middle because I
Grant?
found that some people have confusion which way is north. So I put it right in the middle to make it really easy for everyone to see.
Grant,
North
this is north.
is that way.
Right, so we go south. Yeah,
South
we just
is-
basically go south, and then we take a boat south out of Cliffs Bay to the island compass, the island of Compass. And from there we take a carriage across the long compass to
Right,
the islands Hakanu.
So-
Also note this map. I will update it throughout the campaign, and unlike the world map where I want to show kind of real world weather and stuff, this map is gonna have updated points of interest based on the places you guys have actually been.
And we already
So-
need to redo the map because it's not Cliffs Bay anymore. It's
Yeah.
Kakaris.
Indeed, I'll update that for next time.
Milton, I have noticed a penmanship error on your map. The name of this township, this city-state, is not Cliffs Bay anymore.
Yeah. I made this map yesterday. Okay.
Penny's gonna cross Cliffs Bay out and write the democratic city of Kokaris.
Well, while we're all giving out bad news, I've got probably the worst news of all. The Eye of the Norns was taken by the Mind Flayers.
How did
Hi.
that happen?
What's the Eye of the Norn?
The Eye of the Norn is part of a mega powerful artifact that puts the being who controls this dimension back to sleep.
And
One
why
of
is that
many, along with the Totem of Tygal.
And it's my eye.
Well, you, if you would have just, probably handed it over, like when we first asked, they wouldn't have it, Nagish. Just sorry that your
Too
eyes
soon,
gone.
Moriarty. Too soon.
so?
I understand, but at the same time, we
It's
wouldn't-
my eye.
So like when did they do this?
Yarr. Nagish and I went on a journey shortly after you left the cave, Moriarty and Clacker. He took me across the astral plane and showed me beyond the veil to the extra-dimensional nature of reality and the fabric of the universe, and showed me the dreaming god that creates this place. And while we were there, the Mind Flayers tracked us down and ripped the eye right out of Nagish's head here.
Oh.
I think Penny's gonna give Nagish another hug and she's gonna say, That's so weird because like we were fighting this like boss mind flare guy and like we were about to smoke him, or maybe he was about to smoke us, I don't know, but then he was like, huh, interesting, and then flooded a cavern. I mean, we ended up killing him, but like maybe the interesting was like that.
It would
They're
make
a
sense.
collective.
Right, they share thoughts. They're a hive mind.
I want to take just a second and appreciate the scene of like you all crowded around an empty tavern because everyone is out getting healed and whatever. So it's like, you know, a single table, maybe a crackling fireplace, this map spread out. We've got a halfling here, a handful of like human and elf characters. I'm including SMR in that because like, you
Yeah,
know,
she's a
looks-
humanoid.
Yeah, she looks human. A seal folk that Clacker still hasn't realized is a seal folk due to the
Nope.
hood. An orca folk, a formerly human fishman, and an eyeless beholder all gathered around this map. It's just somehow it's just a heartwarming scene. Just friends.
I think Celine is gonna be like, while this discussion's going on, she's gonna be like druid crafting, but also kind of like knitting a little like daisy chain eye patch for Nagish to wear over his big
Aw.
hole.
Nice. Oh, you know, I bet Yantor is here too. And pointing incessantly to the north where his hut is, along with a couple other people that I think have emerged from hiding. Wow, war is really terrible, Gailey will say. I really hated all of that. I'm glad that the mind flayers are gone now.
Where did this little fairy come from? Have we had this fairy the whole time?
I've been here. I've been hiding along with my friend Corgi. Corgi currently has the form of a corgi head and a flying sea turtle body.
That's disturbing. I'm glad to see you two are okay as well.
Yeah, I mean, we were just hiding in these barrels. It was really terrible. There were, the rats were kind of cute, but they had mutations, and the mind flayers, they're just horrible. So what's the plan now? What are we gonna do to stop them?
That's a really good question. Gailey, next time, like, if you want to hide, just like we could help you, and you wouldn't have to hide in a barrel with some rats.
Okay. I mean, I do like hide and seek. It's how I met all of these people.
Oh, cool. Like, maybe, have you met my friend Raven? And Raven's gonna go over to Gailey.
Yeah. Gailey will snuggle with Raven.
That is a good question. What are we gonna do next, gang?
Well, listen. They can see pretty much everything. They can probably see us having this conversation right now. But you know what that also means that they can see? That we're going to kill them. They're gonna try and cut us off at every pass. But I don't think it's out of the question that we win this still. We've got the gods on our side.
Four nods at that.
Yantor shakes his head at that.
Celine's gonna roll her eyes at that.
Jack, Nagish with his like smaller eyes will look over at all of his smaller eyes are wondering, looking at all of the party. Jack, did you explain to them the totem and the eye and the lyre of Jush-Patar, the Jush-Patar lyre, and how there's 10 different artifacts that all go together to create it?
Well, you heard him. There are 10 more artifacts. There are 10 total artifacts out there. We have one. The Mind Flayers have one. We need the rest of them.
Well, we know the Mind Flayers have one. We don't know how many more they might have. Nagish, do you have like a list of what all the artifacts are, and maybe a last sighting or location of them?
Certainly. I used to be able to see all of them with my eye before it was brutally taken from me. But yes, I should know where each of them can be found.
Now you remember how hard it was to get the eye. And you remember it wasn't quite that simple to get the totem. I am very positive that neither will the rest of them. They will all be challenging.
So, is it 10 in total, or we have 10 more?
10
10 in total. 10 in
Okay,
total.
so 8 more, plus the one that we have to get back from the mind flares, is a lot of items.
Little halfling friend, Nelson, do you mind if we draw on your map? I'll rattle off the names if all of you want to drop pins or circle the names or whatever.
You're letting us draw on the map?
Against my better judgment.
Probably shouldn't let us, because
You probably shouldn't let us, because pre-show we were drawing some very beautiful artworks.
Right. Alright, so some of you may have heard of these items from different legends. Some of them may be obscure to you. I don't know. Let's see. There's the Actilian Spear, which I believe was kept in Arcathians. And if any of you have specific questions about any of these items, you can make history checks. Let me get through the list first, and then we can circle back on them. I'll put them in.
Spears and Arcathians.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll make a journal entry of this as well, but for now I'm just gonna put it in chat after I read off the list.
Okay, I'm just
that should
trying
be
to
fun.
do something dumb. I'm trying to multitask, but also recording a podcast, which is dumb. Okay, I'm good.
The Jade Emperor's Jewel is in Bagudaga across the way.
Bagudaga.
It's in the east.
Up there, all the way up there.
Yes, of course, there's the Eye of the Norns and the Totem of Tegal. The Flaming Heart of Pele is in Haikanalu.
Honolulu sounds nice.
Well, I mean, this time of year is hurricane season, so getting there might be fraught.
We can
The
just sail
boat
right
of-
through the triangle. It's no big deal. I've
I
done
think
it
that worked
plenty
out
of
well for you
times.
last time, didn't it, Jack?
Worked out
Nelton,
great
how did
for
you know
me.
that there is a big whirlpool up here?
Oh, that's documented. It's always there. Something about the way
Okay.
the water works around the islands. People don't sail in it. Unless you're stupid.
Yeah, don't go in there. That's not a great idea.
I have a sudden feeling we're gonna be stupid at one point.
There's not one of the items in it, is there, Nagish? You're not about to tell me there's something down there.
Not to my memory, no.
Whew.
Let's see. In Kelwaruma is the boat of Sankurang.
The what?
The flower of Utnapishtim is in Masara. Good. I have a history check specifically from Moriarty.
Sure.
Oh, that was almost a crit.
So close.
I love seeing the
Ah.
dice, though.
I love it too.
Yeah.
It's very fun though when you're like working on your character sheet and everyone keeps rolling and it rolls across what you're working on.
I had
Right.
the-
I was rolling privately
scaring
earlier,
me.
so that I would
I
not
left
mess with
the
you.
tab open and I was just sitting here eating my dinner and I was, what the heck was that?
So, what, 18 for Moriarty?
Yes.
Yeah, so you would remember when Nagish says, the flower of Utnapishtim. You would know that that is from the Epic of Shag Mahal, which you found the constellation and the excerpt of poetry from it in Praz's lair way back when.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see, the
Where was
golden
that?
apple, the totem, the fan of Li Shun, and the stone of endless sacrifice, of course. This would be in Baksandi, Taiyang, and Tlatzakiodo.
I don't remember if Abraham knows this or not, but I think maybe I do. I just can't remember. Do we know that the other Mind Flayer sighting was in Shikiodai? Or did only Zachariah know that?
I don't know if Zachariah told anybody else. Maybe he told Kenawan. I think he told Kenawan.
Well, the question is, does Kaylee know that as the other person there? That
Yeah, I think
were
that either
sighted?
Kenawan or Gailey would know, and they can confer. So any,
I forgot.
Any,
Kaylee was
like-
there for that.
yeah. I think you'd be aware of that. So you've got several different points of interest to look for items. Zugjigalku was last sighted in Shikiodai.
Yeah, none of
Yontor points again to the north of the map.
Oh, boy.
Whoa, did they never take care of Apex?
No, Apex is
Yeah,
still
it's-
destroying my forest.
It's been about a day since we left. I mean,
What?
since you left.
No, it hasn't.
No, it's been a little longer than that.
Oh, you're right. It's been like 3 days after.
Yeah,
Total.
it's been about 3 days.
Ooh. I know that time dilatation's weird in the astral plane, but I thought for a second there you were about to tell me that I'd only been gone for like 5 minutes or something.
Oh no! I mean, at the least it was a night, and then we got here. But no, it's been about 3 days, really.
I mean, looking at this map, it looks like it's a 4 and 4 west and east split, so that's fun. It's like maybe that was planned.
Jack looks at the table and kind of susses out the, number of people here, and I kind of nod and think to myself,
We're gonna need a couple more crew members to split this evenly.
And maybe we should kind of deal with what's going on over at Shigiodai. Maybe.
And back at my hut where Apex is burning the forest down.
I think Celine's gonna just press a finger to her lips and go shh. Shh. I wish I had calm emotions. I don't.
Yontor does. He's just not using it on himself.
Every time Yontor mentions the forest, Clacker just kind of looks away and looks off into the distance as if he's not hearing what Yontor is saying.
Jack sighs
I mean-
and looks over at Yontor and says, Yontor,
I know that this is really hard to understand, but I am positive that Yul brought you and me together for a reason, and it wasn't to stop Apex.
I think it was, though.
His big moose eyes are getting glassy.
You can do much more than save a forest, Yontor. You can save the whole goddamn universe.
But I love my forest.
Your forest won't be there if the entire fabric of the galaxy is ripped apart. Beyond this veil, there is a horrible monster named... Well, I won't speak it. I look over at Nagish. I won't say it. But he is
Can you
dreaming
write it?
the fabric of our reality. The Mind Flayers are going to try to flay his mind and become the new god that controls the fabric of reality.
What would you what do you think is more important? Do you think we go after these relics so that we can create we can, maybe Power Rangers style assemble this loot? Or
Does
That would be in the references.
What is a Power Ranger?
Right.
oh, it
She heard about it on her cell phone.
yeah. I watched the projector news. It was like right after the royalty tabloid gossip was over. There was like this kid show about like 4 different like rangers and they had
All
different
right.
powers. Yeah.
I love their theme song.
They all had different colors and my favorite was the pink one.
No one will ever take them down. The power lies on their side.
I guess it's canon. So, on the projector screens throughout the West Anakin colonies, obviously there's like news reporting. That's like what Gregory was doing.
Yeah.
There's royalty tabloid and there's like Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
Cartoon.
You got the three things you need in the society.
Adds
You
up
got
to
the
me.
news, you got gossip, and you have entertainment. I don't see what's
Yeah.
I'm a
wrong.
big fan
Yeah,
of
there you go.
Willikins Island.
Nathan, you gave me a broadcast system. You didn't think I was gonna riff
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah. So quickly from a meta level, obviously there's 2 PCs each. So I know you're all probably assuming this, but just to make it explicit, you'll be dividing up into teams of 4. Soon to be teams of 5 because we have a new player waiting in the wings that I'll leave it at that for now, but I'm really excited for this new player to join.
Done.
Yeah, mystery announcement. So as you're planning this out, you don't have to stay in the same groups of 4, but like Penelope might want to go with Clacker, for example. But make sure that your PCs are in separate groups, even if it doesn't quite fit exactly what the character would do.
What?
Wait,
I can't
so
have
you
both my
mean-
characters go into one side?
You mean
And
I
just
can't?
have you absent for like 2 months, Pippin. I prefer not.
And maybe so that means I can't use Celine's portents when Penelope wants to cast her big spells that you always roll and save against.
That is what that means.
Ah, I tried to
now-
metagame too close to the sun.
Right. You can embark on the same quest. Like, you might all just focus on the magic items, or you might each take different fronts. Like, a group of you might go to Shikyodai and try to stop Zug Zug. Some of you might pursue the items. Like, all of that is up to you. Kinewan would also mention that he's planning to go back to the Astral Sea, see if he can rally the Wayfinders, see if he can track down Mitsuka and help her. So that's also if any of you want to accompany him, he's willing to bring you along.
And I think we should probably 2 things. We need to shore up our alliances with the new city and make sure that the Parliament's going to have our back for the inevitable like final push against the Mind Flayers. I think is going to be a priority. Less of a priority, but definitely something we need to wrap up. And then we need to figure out how we're going to get the Eye of the Norns back.
Mm-hmm.
Which probably will involve going to the Astral Sea, I imagine.
Yeah. We'll get to specific details about this couple weeks from now, but after the battle that took place in the bay, there are a couple captured Taiwanese vessels. There's also a couple West Anakin naval vessels that are in a state of, like, they're seaworthy, but they're not combat worthy. They need some fixing up, but any of, like, you will have access to full boats. Each party is going to get a boat.
Guns and
Very
ships, and so the balance
So
shifts.
the balance shifts. Yep.
Name of the episode title.
We rendezvous with Nagish. Doesn't quite work. Yeah. Okay. So all of that said, back to planning. What is speaking to the different characters? Where do you think the characters are going to want to go? Are the teams going to be the same?
Originally, I was going to say plot twist, guys. Penelope and Celine are switching parties, but now it's kind of like a free-for-all, isn't it?
I mean, Jack would look to Clacker Moriarty and, like, say,
I would love to have you back on my crew.
Right.
I think it's less of cruise and more of what the target is. Is it I mean, I would be interested in going to Arcathians or honestly anywhere the travel and see places I haven't seen before. Maybe try to get some other stuff done while I'm out there. And Penny just wants to kill mind flayers.
Jack would say, we absolutely have to get the artifacts. But if we let the mind flayers run rampant the whole time without anybody attempting to stop them, it will be for nothing. We will be protecting a universe full of mind flayers. We have to mitigate their advance while collecting the artifacts simultaneously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think a party should go to Shigeodai, and I think the other party needs to start working on artifacts. I think the closest would be this place up here. And then we can kind of go up here, and then down here, and then here. And then this is going to be a trek.
Clockwise around the world is what it's looking like.
Yeah, and I think that would be like the fastest, more direct route because I don't think we have a wizard in the party who knows teleportation.
No,
I know
but-
transportation.
See, this is why Eold brought you to us.
Oh, that's a good point.
Now I propose we stick to what we're best at. Me and my crew, we've already tracked down and found 2 of the artifacts. Now, yes, we lost one, but that was because of some bad juju. All right? And you guys single-handedly defeated the Mind Flayer army here in Cliffs Bay. So as far as I see it, we stick to our guns. Everyone stays in their lane. We do what we do best. You guys kill Mind Flayers, we're treasure hunters.
Abraham shrugs and nods.
Yeah, I don't think Penny... I mean, Penny wants to go out and see the world, but she's doing that by going to Shigeodai, so I think that kind of satisfies her wants and needs. Yeah. Alex, Pippin.
What say you, Clacker and Moriarty?
Well,
You know, I always want to be a party. Oh, go ahead.
I'll let you go first this time, Clacker.
You know, I always want to be a part of your crew, Jack. As far as I'm concerned, you never left. So I'll go wherever you go.
Moriarty's just gonna give him the stink eye. That is not what I have been hearing for the last 3 days, Clacker. That's beside the point.
Jack
Clacker
will
looks away
just
as if he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Jack will just wave his hands in the air and nod in just a way of like clearing the air, and he'll say, "Listen, it was everything that happened was my fault. I pushed you too hard. I wasn't a good captain, but I've learned so much in the week that I've been gone." And I stamped my trident down on the ground, and I was like, "I will lead us to victory."
Boys, if I'm to go hunt down some artifacts with you, maybe we can do some group therapy, kind of clear the air, talk about our feelings, It's gonna be a long voyage.
That
Jack
sounds
would look at
delicious,
Celine.
Nagish says.
Jack would look at Celine and be like,
And who is this?
Oh,
She
my
was
name
the
is
person that showed up late.
Celine the Star Child. The stars told me to go to Tristan, and I did, and I met these fellows, and now I'm on a quest. Nice to meet your acquaintance. I tried looking for you. You were gone. You were out. Pleasure to meet you. And Nagish, I made you a little eye patch. It's like a bunch of different vines and flowers she's like knitted together through druid craft, like hand knitted, to cover his little eye gap.
Well, big eye gap, but regardless.
Eye gap. It's little. It's a
Thank you.
little eye gap. It's so barely noticeable. And looking at
It's my whole face. But thank you. Thank you. That's very sweet. I would cry if my tear ducts worked.
Look, you two are twinning. You and the fish.
He is my
Yarr.
friend. My best friend.
Well, I think we'll become great friends soon, maybe.
I will warn you. Three of us are missing eyes. It's not going to be long until the rest of you are. I start laughing.
3 of us.
Moriarty, do you have an eye behind your eye patch? I thought it was rude to ask, so I didn't.
Moriarty just lifts up the eye patch. No, it's for night, going below deck and above deck. It's so I can keep my vision. I have both my eyes.
He only ever uses one.
I only ever need one when I'm beating ass.
Inspiration Moriarty.
Thank you.
Since this is all settled, should we go party? I imagine people in the streets are like starting to party. Like the mind flares are gone. We have a new city
Yeah.
state.
For sure, it's like VE Day. Yeah. So you can head around, start your celebrating. Penelope, I think one of the nuns would pull you aside and ask for you to come back to the church briefly before resuming your revelry.
Yeah, of course. Guys, we'll meet up later. I got some like official nun business I have to take care of.
Abraham
Hearing?
nods and says, I think I have some official business to take care of as well.
So Penelope, back in the monastery, or not the monastery, the convent, did you give a name to your mother superior, the head of the order?
No, I've left that all to. We did a joke. I think one of our really awesome fans did a fan animation of my spirit guardian baby nuns, and we gave the that nun a name.
Okay. I missed that. I also didn't give your nun a name, so let's come up with that real quick. She's human.
Yes.
I'm imagining she's. Oh no! You know what? Let's model her after Whoopi Goldberg in the Sister Act.
Wow.
Sister Whoopi. It is.
Whoopsie.
No, so the reason Penelope's background has to deal with the nuns is a TV based on a TV show I really like. And one of the nuns No, it's I'll tell you later.
Okay.
It's
Is it not
embarrassing. It's a
appropriate?
show I watch with no, it's appropriate. It's just like a boring BBC show that I watch with my mom. And one of the sisters in there was Sister Evangeline, so that was my gut instinct went to, but also like Evangeline, R.I.P.
Sister
Yeah,
Evangeline Abernathy.
She's already represented in the.
Well,
in the
she'd
Pantheon.
be, yeah. So they always have like not necessarily because these nuns are based on more of like Anglican nuns, not necessarily like Catholic nuns, but they always have very like religious-y names, like
Okay.
yeah, and it's always like a
Um,
double name. I'm gonna. do a
Let's
nun
go
name.
with Naomi.
Yeah, I like Naomi.
Okay. All right.
Mother Naomi.
Mother Naomi. Yeah, so Mother Naomi sits you down and she says, "Child, you've been through a lot. You sure you're okay?"
She's just gonna break down crying. Penelope's like, I saw so much blood. I've never
I know,
seen
girl.
so
I
much
know.
blood,
I
and it
know.
got all over me. And,
I know. Let it all out. Let it
and
all
like
out.
I almost died like so many times. I almost drowned. Almost drowned, and then I got a bag put on my head. And the only reason I'm still alive is because I had the bag.
Yeah, and Mother Naomi pulls you in. She's just rocking you back and forth. You feel she's actually crying too, sympathetically. I know, girl. I know. Let it out. Let it out.
But I just have this calling, and like in the little pits of your stomach, and when you're trying to fall asleep at night and you just feel, you know, there's the other side and they need you to help, and I just feel so called. Mother Naomi, I can't let these people down, and if I don't act, who will, We waited for people to try to save the city and no one did, so we just kind of had to do it ourselves.
Yeah, Naomi smiles down at you. You know, the look a mother gives when she's both proud of you and doesn't want to see you leave. The college look. And she'll say, Penelope, I am so proud of you. You are so strong, and I always knew you'd feel trapped in this within the walls of this convent. Now, journey and see the world. I know that's what you need to do. You need to be outside the walls of this convent, but that doesn't mean that you need to leave it. Keep our teachings with you. Remember to take care of each other, to nurture when you can.
Mm-hmm. Blast people in the face with your
No.
divine abilities.
That's not.
I know.
Maybe just a little bit. Maybe just a little bit. But
maybe if they're mind flares.
or if they're
Just a
questioning.
little bit.
I'm really gonna miss you guys, and I promise I'm gonna be back. And she's like crying. It feels so good that she's had this like so much weight, because she's had to be like, she's been playing with the big boys and she's been having to be a grown up.
Mm-hmm.
And she's gonna say, I'll be back, and I'll bring each of you some souvenirs, even though I know as nuns you're not supposed to have any worldly possessions. I know the rules.
And Mother Naomi will kind of glance from side to side, and then she'll wink at you, and she'll pull a little wooden plaque out from her robes. She'll say, that's right, we're not supposed to have any worldly possessions, but I have had this. It was passed down to me from the mother here when I was your age, and I want you to have it now. And you'll see, it's very simple. It's just like a single piece of wood that has been carved into a slight relief of like a sunburst, and then stained to show different like rays of sunlight radiating out from the center. So it's like let's say it's 3 tones of like wood stain. Keep your eyes on the light. And remember, it's gonna get dark. That doesn't mean that there isn't light. It doesn't mean that the sun won't rise again.
Thank you, Mother Naomi. I will treasure this greatly. Always. And she's gonna give her a big ol' hug. And I mean, I'm not leaving like right now. We're gonna go celebrate. I wrote a constitution today.
Hell yeah, girl. And then she'll like cross herself. That's excellent. That is excellent. Let's go celebrate.
Yeah, and I think the nuns are gonna go party.
Mm-hmm. Abraham, you said you had some kind of business to attend to as well?
Yeah. So, how big would you say Cliffs Bay is exactly?
Are we talking population or like miles?
Width, length?
It's a coastal town, so it's not more than half a mile deep, but it's maybe 5.5, 6 miles from one side to the other along the coast.
And like, are all of the plant growths like everywhere throughout the city?
The
Or
mind
is it
flare
just
plant
mostly,
growths?
Yeah, you said they were leaving like these weird mushrooms and stuff everywhere.
Yeah, that's not everywhere. That's some key facilities. So Parliament was one of the strongholds they took over. Same with the riverbed
crags.
complex, the fungal crags. Yeah, but no, it's not. It's not universal throughout the whole town.
How big is Parliament? Would you say it's like bigger than 200 feet across?
I think it's smaller than that. I can actually measure it out.
Or like the fungal crags? How big are those places?
Fungal Crags is bigger. It's a whole like university. let's see. So Parliament diagonally is a total of 180 feet across. The Fungal Crags is probably closer to 500 feet.
I
Riverbed
see.
Complex is about 200 feet.
Let me double check one thing really quick. But what I'm going to do is, I suppose I'll start with the fungal, or with the riverbed, since that's where we're about to go party, probably. Or everyone's probably thinking we're going to go party at the Lion's Den, I suppose, but I'm going to march back to that battle site there, and I just want to see how many times a day I can do this. It looks like I can do it twice a day. So I'm going, and I have a radius of 100 feet, so a diameter of 200 feet.
Mhm.
I'm going to walk in and activate plant growth. So for just a moment, like, all the mushrooms would grow like an excessive amount, and then I would snap my fingers and they would all just wither away.
Yeah.
And then I would march on down to Parliament and do it there too.
All right. And when the mushrooms wither away in Parliament, it looks like there's one clump that doesn't seem to be affected by your magic. It's like a big white chunk.
That's interesting. I would like to go get some of the wizards from the Fungal Crags. We need
Sure,
to
you can
investigate
find
this.
the blue whale folk named Dower. He is one of the survivors. He would follow you back to the fungal, or the Parliament.
I would point this out to him. Say, listen, I would normally ask my colleague Zachariah, but he's no longer with us. So I'm seeking out a wizard to assist me. I have found a very strange mushroom here. I have cleared away all of the Mind Flayer's disgusting work from the city, except for your headquarters. That's a little bit. I'll do that tomorrow.
I'm confused. There's nothing there.
You don't see this? And I motion at it.
I see nothing there. Looks like you've cleared out all of the growths in here.
I will use my mage hand to begin to pull at it and see if it is malleable.
Yeah, so your mage hand reaches out and it rolls over, and you see that it was in fact a hairy skull. Hey there, I was wondering about how long it would take. How you doing, Abraham?
I look at the whale folk and say, it was nothing. I was just seeing things. Have a
Oh,
good
no
day.
worries. Likewise. Get out there and party some. We've done a remarkable thing here.
And he'll lumber out.
Why did you take the form of a mushroom puff?
Anything vaguely round, I'll disguise however I need to. That's not the point. It's kind of a decay fungus thing. What, Abraham? We were talking about you building things up to tear them down. Seems like you're just building things up. I mean, you start a whole new city-state. That's a lot of building.
Yeah, I have to admit they didn't fall into my hand the way I expected them to.
No, I'm ready to see this island kind of wither like those mushrooms there. Like that was good work making a fungus wither. There's something poetic about that, but we got to see more of that, you know?
Well, I had grand plans, but you know I can't do it without justification. I need them to
Of course
push
you
me to the
can.
brink.
Of course you can. You can do whatever you want.
Well, I can if I want to ruin my reputation and not be allowed in places like this anymore. But to destroy them from the inside, you have to be inside.
Man, your reputation's already beginning to wither as much as those mushrooms did. Not with these imbeciles around here, but with her.
Yes, well, I did make a promise to a colleague, and I had to see that through. That is done now, and I'm off to the next location.
Abraham. Don't you know promises are just another thing you can corrupt? Withering a promise is just as delicious as withering a plant.
Yes, well, I don't want to do that. This person meant a lot to me, so I'm not going to do that.
Ruining a relationship that means a lot is even better. Come on.
Right. Well, listen, I did put a curse on the lieutenant of the Navy there. I don't know if you saw that. That's going to cause quite a bit of trouble for them down the line.
Right. Still, I'm seeing a net build from you, not a net rend.
Yeah, I can't deny that you're correct. In this moment, I put all my chips on black and it came up red. All right, what can I say? Next time I will gamble and win.
Alright, see that you do. Next time's the third time. Things come in threes, you know that. And then the skull will dissolve into mushroom spores.
Well, fuck. I'll just walk out, light a cigarette. Head back
What's
to the
everyone
team.
else up to? Yeah. Especially Clacker, Moriarty, Arf, Tor.
Tor would originally grab a drink with the others, but as he's got a flask or a bottle, he'll head out to the port, like the bay, and he will go collect. We'll see if he can find, from all the wreckage, sails and like the flags of the what is it, Taiwanese or
Aes, yeah.
and West Annika, as well as any just like whatever the regular merchant fleets flags
Sure.
they'll sail, and he will gather up an assortment of those in their sails for the mission upcoming, so that it's easier to get into places.
Oh, nice. Okay.
He's thinking
And-
like a brigand, you fly the flag until you're about up there, and then you throw up the pirate flag in.
Right. Yeah, while you're collecting stuff, I think, it's nighttime by now. The thunder has receded, but the rain hasn't yet, so there's still like a light sprinkle as you're doing this. And in kind of the tumult of the rippling water and the waves crashing up on the shore, you would see flickers of different images. For a time, they seem to be images of the shipwreck that you experienced. And then you would also see a couple different visages
each of which seem to speak to some part of you, some part of something inside you.
Okay.
In some of the flashes of like sheet lightning in the clouds far away, they would reflect through the water, and you would see a white cat in the waves. A white cat with red eyes. And at other points, you would see a snow leopard. Two very similar images, just different in size. Somehow the snow leopard seems calmer. And finally, you would also see... Sorry, I lost my note. You would also see it that where you first thought rain was hitting the ground, you would see that there's actually tiny black icicles skittering across the ground as they hit. But when you blink, they appear to be gone, and it seems like it's just rain again.
Or kind of picking up on that certain people are more manifesting and trying to get his attention. Just kind of like look to his shoulders back and forth, and I understand. I'm trying to think of how he would say this. Knowing about Zugzug, I still can't say her name. A year later.
Zugchikanku. One day.
No, it's gonna be Zugzug. I said that as Moriarty and it's stuck. But looking to the figure on his left shoulder, visage of a snow leopard, he will nod and agree that he must, face this great thing, this great evil, as part of his pledge, as a vintage paladin. But the other side, he's still not quite sure what it wants him to do, as it really hasn't quite said yet. And reaffirms that he's gonna go to Shikudai Yodai.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if they have anything they wanted to just say, or if they're just making their presence known.
All right. Yeah, well, you don't hear any direct response the way that Abraham did. Not at this time.
With a fine, he'll shrug them off and continue to search for the things he was looking for. And that's it for Tor.
All right.
All right, so Clacker and Arf. So after in Parliament, would you say there was probably a mug or something laying around, or a cup or something to use?
Maybe. Certainly in the tavern when you went to strategize with Nelton.
Okay, great. Yeah, so I would say during that time, Arf had grabbed a mug and he had poured some of his whiskey, and he was kind of sipping on that. And then once everyone kind of broke apart to kind of say, oh, let's go party, let's go do our own stuff. Arf kind of made his way out of the room, and he kind of just sat by himself. He was sipping on his whiskey, and then Clacker kind of saw him over there, and he goes over. He's like, "Oh, hey there, buddy. You know, I saw you over there, and I heard you. You know, you helped get rid of all these mind flayers in here, and you know, glad that we can have some trustworthy people here taking care of the city." And he'll, still unaware that Arf is a seal folk, he's going to take a seat next to him. Arf's going to be like, very nervously, he'll be like, yeah, we just, Cliff Bay's my town, and I want to protect it the best I can. And Clacker will just say, I didn't know they had tea here. Let me get some of that. And he'll grab the mug right from Arf's hand, and he'll just take a big sip thinking it's tea, and he'll just spit it out immediately. He's like, this is the worst tea I've ever had in my life. This is awful. I've never had tea this terrible. And Arf's like, okay, hold on, big fella. That's whiskey. You don't know what whiskey tastes like? And Clacker absolutely does not know what whiskey tastes like. He's like, no, it's not tea. I thought it was gonna be tea. But it's not really that bad. Do you have any more of that? Arf will just say, you take that. I'm gonna just take from the bottle. Arf will take a swig from the bottle. Clacker's gonna take a big sip from the mug. He's gonna be like, you're all right. Let's keep this going. Let's go out and party. Arf is just super nervous. He's like, all right behind you, big fella. Still with his hood up, and they just make their way out. And they are kind of just going around the streets, having some drinks and having a good time together. For now.
Nice.
Oh my god, make him kiss. Do the kiss.
Wow.
You would be there.
Can we just
But
have?
as this is the city we are in, it is very suiting that would be the place that they.
Oh, they would.
Right.
Everyone is so
Right.
horny in Cliffs Bay.
Yeah, man, we missed the chance to change the name.
Oh, we should have named it Horny Bay. But BAE.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I mean, the Constitution isn't finalized yet. We still have time to change it.
Well, the night proceeds with much merriment, much celebration, a lot of booze, a lot of games of different types, dartboards, poker and similar card games, Three Dragon Ante, whatever, liar's dice, dancing, singing, playing of whatever instruments are around. Any last thoughts from any of the party members?
I think Celine is gonna be like, when everyone's getting up to go do their thing, she's gonna be like, oh yeah, I'll join you in a second. And with the room empty, she's gonna take the map she has where she's circled all the different places these relics are at. And then she's gonna take one of her star maps and she's gonna kind of try to place them on top of each other and see if there's anything interesting that lines up. I don't know if you're prepared for this.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
Can you remind me what your star maps are? Are they just like constellations that you found?
It's an actual thing I have. Hold on, let me pop it out for you in chat.
Okay, thanks.
It's part of my cleric domain. Oh, it would help if I had the right character sheet, eh?
That is your
Under-
druid circle.
Yeah, my druid circle, that's what I meant.
It's like.
I'm sorry, I should just have... It won't let me pop it into chat, but at second level, you've created a star chart, part of your heavenly studies. It is a tiny object that can serve as a spellcasting focus for your druid spells. You determine its form by rolling the star map table. I didn't do that. While holding this map, you have these benefits. I know the guidance cantrip. I can cast Guiding Bolt. And I was just trying to do some flavor.
Mm-hmm. I do think there'd be some kind of alignment though. Like
Mhm.
neither of the papers are see-through, right? It's not like wax paper,
No.
so you can't
I-
get like a clear overlay.
Yeah, how I imagine her star maps are, it's like literally any scrap of paper, or sometimes it's like needlepoint, it's kind of like almost maniacal, like how there's kind of like scrawled over everything.
Yeah. Yeah,
But-
well, what I would say is you would flip through some of your like scraps and you'd find a constellation that does resemble this in some way.
Okay.
Like it's got I'm just gonna draw it because it's similar. Let's
Okay.
see. So your star chart would have like, you know, a Y-shaped constellation
Mm-hmm.
and an L-shaped constellation, similar, not quite identical,
Mm-hmm.
and then like a curve as well, like that, almost like a helmet. If you finish, maybe this constellation is called the Warrior. Like if you finish it, it looks kind of like a helmet. Constellations always take tons of liberty.
Yeah, it's more of an abstraction.
Right.
But I get-
right.
okay.
But the actual stars would form that symbol, which, if you account for the totem of Tagal and the
Mm-hmm.
eye of the Norns, it does very closely resemble that shape.
It does. I see it actually. Is the warrior known for anything in like mythology or religion or anything?
Make a religion check.
Okay, let's roll some dice on this D&D podcast. Religion, and I am proficient. Let's go. 11.
Okay, I mean, typical, like, positive aspects of masculinity, right? Like strength,
Mhm.
protection. There's probably more, but you can't recall at this point, like the specific mythos of these constellations.
Okay, interesting. She's gonna file that away, the warrior. And then she's gonna roll up the map because I think she has put herself in the position of the navigator and like
Mhm.
the route charter outer since she knows the stars.
Yeah.
And she's gonna go party. I imagine it is like getting lit in the streets. I imagine people are like setting off fireworks, everyone's making out with
Yeah.
each other, there's like
Right.
music blaring everywhere.
For sure.
And it's been too long since she's been around people, and she's gonna revel and party in the streets and do it outside. She's not gonna go in any tavern. She's gonna be outside under the stars.
Nice. Yeah, she sees Nelton crowd surfing down an alleyway.
Throwing out maps to people.
Exactly, yeah. You get a map. You get a
you
map.
get a map.
All right. Well, yeah, the partying commences. The revelry lasts into the wee hours of the morning. And, I mean, after everyone sleeps in, it'll probably be like noon of the next day by the time anyone is functioning. But we will see ya 2 weeks from now. What happens as you all begin your journeys?
Guys, we did it. We did a live show.
We did it. Sorry about the loud music. There we go. Blare everyone's ears out. Okay, let's see. Yeah, this has been Sanity Damage. This has been the first live show of Sanity Damage. To Whom the Sea Belongs. Thank you all for joining us on this epic voyage. We'd love to hear from you in the chat live, in Discord, on any of the social media apps. You can connect with us in any of those places. Linktree/Sanity Damage will give you kind of a nexus to find all of that information. Discord is the best place to hang out with us. We're all there regularly, talking about this show, about the other shows, sharing like pictures of our pets, doing cute pet things. It's a great place. So come join us there. You can also check out Patreon if you want to, from $2 a month all the way up to much higher rewards. You can get monthly PDFs. Those have been on hiatus, but I'll bring them back as soon as I'm able to. You can get shouted out on the show. We'll bring that back as well in the near future for this show. You can add NPC names to the different campaigns, lots of other things. So go check it out, see if anything there suits your fancy. This show is a homebrew live stream. Our dice sponsor is Fan Roll Dice. You can get amazing dice accessories, die towers, die trays, any of that, go to fanrolldice.com, and you can use the coupon code homebrew for 10% off anything on the website. That's fanrolldice.com. This campaign is dedicated to Brandon, who we hold in loving memory. Just a reminder, if you're listening to this in podcast form, you can watch live on Thursdays at 7:30 EST. We record bi-weekly, so the next one is going to be on August 31st. So come check it out. To Whom the Sea Belongs is a sanity damage campaign set in the Kaleidosphere. Join us.
Should we
next
do it
week.
all together? Like kale, like the vegetable.
Kale, like the vegetable.
The vegetable.
IDO.
Yo.
IDO.
Fear.
Spear.
Idaho, yes.
There's your body, Nook. We snuck him in right at the end.
Snuck him in. He's like the stinger at the end of the credits. Join us next week as we set sail once again. Bye.
Bye.
Yar.
Toodles.
Oh, and check out our other YouTube programming. And if you're on YouTube, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. We got things like World Weavers re-premiering this Monday right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're a fan of our Patreon events and are in the Discord, we got Liamon's Tiny Chat for the first time for the second campaign of the Homebrew is this Wednesday, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then right after, at 9 p.m. on YouTube, we're going to do Brew Crew Gaming. And we're going to keep doing 100 Baby Challenge. And it's going to be like a little late night episode since we're doing it an hour later. And then next Sunday, we have Power Word Fail live here on YouTube at 7 EST.
Yeah, thank you for reminding me, or for putting that in. Totally blanked on.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so lots of
and-
stuff going on. Come check out, come see all of it.
Yeah. Next Saturday, RPGU with a special guest at this table. Who is it? I'm not telling you. You're going to have to find out.
Come and see.
Come and see.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Toodles.